I'm bringing up our panelists right now, David and Mr. Jerry Kanyinebi. Okay. Hi, David. Confirm you can hear me, please.
Hi, Victor. Good
Okay.
afternoon.
Thank you, David. Yes, you're welcome. Yeah, Mr. Jerry, confirm you're there and you can hear me as well.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. So we're going to be having our panel section now. So this section has to be a really interactive one, and then it's going to be really straightforward. We're going to be asking a couple of questions, and then you provide us with answers you believe are most suitable to them. Right? Are we ready?
Right.
Okay. All right. So my first question goes to Mr. David, Mr. David Chima. So Chima, many people get stuck trying to learn everything at once. What advice would you give on staying focused on one part? Many people get stuck in trying to learn everything at once. What advice would you give on staying focused on one part?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So I think distraction is normal, right? I think first of all, I'll just try to how do I put it? I'll try to speak from my own point of view, right? So I started my journey in tech in 2019. Yeah, 2019, 2020. And nobody will believe why, because if I say it, it sounds very funny. Um, I've always wanted to build products, not basically tech products, but I think my very first idea in life was um, um, building like say palm oil, processing plant, right? So it's always been like regular boring business. I never thought it's going to turn out to be tech, but breakfast caused me to move into tech. I mean, I picked up a skill. I think I picked up UI UX at the time. And that was because I started a company without having the right knowledge, right? So I didn't know. I just started a company, wanted to build something around finance. I had no skill, and then I just realized that I actually needed a skill to move, into this space. So I think what I'm trying to say basically is that I've tried a lot of things, and because I've tried a lot of things, I probably understand what it feels like, having to try multiple things because most times it feels like, I mean, you're at this point and maybe that's one thing isn't working, right? So you want to really like pivot or move to the next thing, right? So this is what I would say. This is what I would say. It's good to be a generalist, but it's good to also have one thing which is your core. As a person, I know a lot of things, but I would always like to say, "Oh, I'm an ops person." All right. So if you wake me up tomorrow, maybe a fan wants to hire me and say, "Okay, what are you very good at?" I'll say, "I'm very good at business operations because business operations is my core." Right. And then it now evolves to every other thing, having to be, like a graphics design. I'm sorry, having to do know how to do UI UX, having to know how to do product management, having to know how to do project management, all of those things. All of those things just come under it. But what is your core? So I think it just comes to I think it comes to one thing, which is you should have one big goal. What is that one big thing for you, right? What is your core, which is the thing you want to focus on, and you should be in it for a very long time. And the reason I said you should be in it for the very long time is that the truth is in tech, just like every other field, outside in this world generally, consistency pays off, right? I mean, the more you stay with it, the more you see, you see the road gets clearer and clearer. Just like you're traveling down a road, let's say in the middle of the night, people who know how to drive, the cloud or the area is foggy and you have your headlights on, you're probably not seeing what's next. You're probably not seeing what's like in like 1 kilometer ahead of you, but you can see what's like maybe within the next 500 meters, right? You focus on getting ahead, keep going, keep going, keep going before you hit the next 1 kilometer. So I'm just trying to use illustration so that it doesn't sound like I'm speaking plenty grammar. So, but what I'm just trying to say is stick to one thing, pick one thing which is your core, stick to it. I mean, when I did paid employment, everything I did in paid employment was just operations. I never did UI UX. I never did project management. I never did product management. I was head of operations in the company at the time. before I started the company that took off. So what I'm just saying in essence is, I think you should have a core. And when you have your core, it is good to pick up every other knowledge, but you must have a core, right? You see people in marketing, someone can say, oh, I'm a marketing specialist, oh, I'm a marketer. Do you understand? But it does not mean as a marketer, if you want to lead a team, let's say, for example, you want to grow to the crux of your career, you need to understand SEO, you need to understand paid ads, you need to understand traditional marketing, you need to understand, a lot of things that have to do with marketing. But that does not mean you don't have a core. So you have one thing which is your core, maybe marketing, and then you pick every other thing under, you know, under it as you go. As you climb the ladder, you pick every other thing. So some people start with SEO. You start with SEO, and then maybe you focus on it for the next 6 months, 1 year. You make your first 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, $5,000. You've mastered the art of SEO. That's a very good place money is coming in from. You can now move to say, okay, I want to let paid advertisements just to complement my SEO skills. From there, I think just define his career path and then stick to it. That's just it in a nutshell.
Okay, thank you so much, David. I think that was a very insightful one there. You've really shared practical steps from your journey. It's even glad to know that you were once in paid employment. It's funny because see what you're doing now, bro. Man, it's amazing. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so we're going to quickly hear from Mr. Jerry. So, Mr. Jerry, your question is going to display on the screen, and I would also read that out for you. Hang in a minute, please. Okay. So, Mr. Jerry, um, once someone has acquired a skill and built confidence, how do they position themselves for remote jobs or international clients? I don't know if that's clear. Mr. Jerry,
Sorry, can you
yes,
guys hear me? It's raining heavily in Abuja, so I hope you guys can hear me clearly.
yes, we can hear you.
All right, so yeah, as one who has acquired a skill and built confidence. Okay, so number one way to effectively position yourself is I'm going to be very very practical on this. There are different platforms where you get to meet the persons or organizations that will need your skill. There are individuals, organizations, and institutions that are in demand. Now, depending on the skill that you have, right? First thing you need to do is to look for the right platform, right? You look for the right platform. The right platform could be freelancing platforms like Fiverr and Upwork, which many of us know about. It could be social media platforms like LinkedIn. I like laying emphasis on LinkedIn because it's a platform that many persons really don't know how to utilize, but it's a gold mine. By virtue of being on LinkedIn, you can find yourself connecting with a top CEO of a top organization. I think around early this year, when I was preparing for an event I wanted to do some months ago. I was having a conversation with head of learning, Central Bank of Nigeria. I forgot her name. I connected with her on LinkedIn from an event, told her this is what I do. And we started talking. This is somebody who, on a normal day, because of her protocol and everything, you may not have the opportunity. But we had that conversation via LinkedIn. Same with top international persons. So the platform, you have to find the right platform. Now, second thing you need to do is to not just go and start selling, oh, this is what I do, come and buy or hire me. You have to position yourself. You have to build a personal brand. You have the skill, you have the confidence. Now let the skills show, let the confidence show in how well you display your personal brand, right? Your personal brand on social media, how you position yourself, how you set up your it's very practical, how you set up your profile, the picture. Some of you here, you are very skilled at what you do, but when we visit your page on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, it's as if the church is as if it's a crusade they are doing on your profile, right? Today you are talking about Chelsea. Tomorrow you are talking about Donald Trump. Next tomorrow you are posting church program and everything. And on your bio you say you are a web developer. You say you are an instructional designer. You say you are this. But then when people go through your profile, they don't see anything connected to what you do. So first thing to do is to optimize your profile, build your personal brand, start sharing content relating to what you do. And the best way to do that is to identify the problems you want to solve with your skill. Also identify the particular industry, field, or type of organization you would like to work with, or type of clients you would like to work. You can't work with everybody, right? So you need to have an understanding: what kind of clients or organizations do I want to work with? What kind of content draws their attention? What kind of information, are they looking for? And then you align yourself, align your messaging. If you have to get better, I mean, don't just put out content anyhow. We have AI there to help you. When you drive the content, put it on ChatGPT to polish it up. I'm not saying you should use ChatGPT to generate your post, but develop original content aligned with the problems you want to solve. Use AI to polish it up, and put it out there. Then you start networking. All right. Now, the mistake most of us make is that when we connect with people that we would like to work with, international clients, we just go and tell them, oh, my name is this, I'm from Nigeria, I would like to work with you. No, there are ways to go about this, right? You can start by joining their events. You can start by joining their fellowships or being a part of what they are doing, dropping reasonable comments on their posts, you know, becoming visible. They always liking their posts, always commenting, all right, always being visible with what they are doing. And then when you finally get the chance to be in their DMs, I'm talking about LinkedIn now, even on Instagram too, it still works. When you finally even on Facebook too, yeah. When you finally get the chance to be in their DMs, instead of just saying, oh, I'm a graphic designer, oh, I'm a product designer, I would like to work with you. You could just start by saying, oh, I really appreciate the work you've been doing with your organization so far, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you more on this piece. And that's all. That first message doesn't have to be you pitching yourself. You've basically introduced yourself. You can spend the next few weeks commenting on their posts. If they organize a class, you sign up. Or if they are doing an event or anything, just be a part of it. Then start building relationship. And then while you are doing that on your own page, you are talking about you are talking about your portfolio. You are developing your products. You can't tell me that you are a web designer and there's nothing on your profile showing the web projects you've done. You can't tell me that you are a data analyst. Your content should show. It should show. There's something called KLT. Know, like, trust. People need to know you. They need to like you and they need to trust you. And for that to happen, the information you share and how you position yourself is very, very important. Now, this is for social media. Why I emphasize on this is because it's the best way to build social capital and also the best way to connect with people. Then, for freelancing platforms, there are a lot of freelancing platforms right now. Although the most popular we know is Upwork and Fiverr. My advice to you would be look for someone that is very, very good in Upwork. Pay them and let them teach you how to position yourself properly on Upwork or on Fiverr. There is another platform I discovered recently called Twine. There are lots of them. Learn how to position yourself. Be ready to invest money. Learn, position yourself. And final thing I want to say on that is patience is very, very important. When it comes to working remotely, getting access to international opportunities, you have to be patient, right? It doesn't just come immediately. You have to patiently build your brand, put yourself out there, network, also volunteer to help people out. You see someone from the US that is organizing an event or something, all right? Or let's say Dexa, for example, is doing something like this, and you're a graphics designer, you're a product designer, you're a web designer. You could reach out to Mr. Kingsley and say, oh, I love what you're doing. I really want to be a part of this. Do you need help? I do. Can I help you with designs and everything? Identify the gaps he needs. And by the time you've done that first time, second time, as a reasonable person, he will want to engage you. Even if he doesn't engage you immediately, he will refer you because he has seen the quality of work that you've done, right? Which leads me to the final thing I want to say. Please and please, as you're positioning yourself, building your personal brand and pitching and everything, please ensure that you do good work. Please and please. so that when you are knocking on doors, but when the doors finally open, don't mess it up. Don't get an open door and end up closing it because of incompetence or lack of excellence, right? So as you're putting yourself out there, you are confident and everything, ensure that you are excellent in your delivery. And I hope that you get what you are looking for. So this is what little I can share. Thank you. Oh, can you guys hear me? I'm done. I'm done.
Okay. All right. All right. So thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Jerry, for that explosive response to that question. It is, I think, it's something that addresses any issues anybody could be having with regards that. So the next question is going to be to Mr. Victor, the CEO of. Oh, and the question. Oh my God. All right. So I'm taking the next question. Next question is Victor, from your experience training thousands, what is the simplest roadmap for a beginner that a beginner can follow in the first 6 to 12 months? Okay, so I'm going to be really straight about this. For someone who is just starting out, uh, in the tech space, the simplest roadmap a beginner can follow in the first 6 to 12 months. So I'm going to really align this with regards finding a job in the tech role you would want to go through, right? So let's not, talk about random stuff. So let me focus it on, let's say you're a beginner, right? I'm going to assume you've already acquired a skill. This is going to be an assumption. This is just for us to have a focus point on this conversation. I'm going to assume you've already gotten a skill, and then you're looking to, land yourself a role within the next 6 to 12 months. So the first thing I'd be doing if I were you is to first treat myself as a startup. Yes, you need to treat yourself as a startup. You need to put yourself out there in a way that it is obvious that you're there to solve a problem. So first of all, start making market research. That's what startups do. People don't just build apps. People don't just come out and start doing stuff. People, they make market research. They understand what the problem that exists is. So if you've learned a skill, understand the problems, make research, find out the problems that exist that your skill can solve. There is a problem your skill is meant to address. So in the first 4 months, dive heavily into research. Update your LinkedIn profile while you're doing that, and just put in the right words that needs to be on your LinkedIn, sharpen your positioning, and then study global job boards to see what people are hiring for. So if you're on platforms like Upwork, LinkedIn, Fiverr, go look at what they are hiring for. When you go to those platforms, you most likely see the jobs that has the most hires, and those jobs are things. Just shows you things that are in demand. At some point, web developers were so much in demand, and they are still in demand now. But there's a point that when you go to Fiverr, you'd most likely see jobs hiring web developers. Then there was a time sales and marketing became a problem for a lot of businesses. You would go on those platforms, you see people hiring for copywriters, for people who are good with Facebook ads and all of that. So whichever industry you're in, look for problems there, do market research, and then after you've done market research, you edit your profiles to look like the problem you want to solve. You don't go on LinkedIn and answer to different things. Like people who are prompt vendors, you think you're a prompt engineer. I don't know if you watched Avatar. There are people, on Avatar you have fire vendors. There are people that call themselves prompt vendors. So they're not prompt. So some of these ambiguous terms wouldn't get you anywhere, right? You just finished learning a skill. You've not even gotten your first job. You're already putting names, adding stuff to your shoulder. Well, calm down. There'll be time for that. But the first thing you should have to focus on is to be able to factor put your LinkedIn in a way that it sells exactly that thing you do as simply as you can. So the next thing you should do for the next 4 months, after the first 4 months, the following 4 months, go into building your portfolio, work on case studies, get your hands on projects. You need proof of work. People need to see what you're doing. People need to understand that you're actually working on something. So start working on more projects. And that was something I always advise people to do, right? Um, if you're just starting out and you don't really have a lot of experiences to yourself, go on ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT to give you task as an employer with regards to the skill that you have, right? It's going to give you more projects and work on those projects as if you are working on a real project. When you're able to achieve that, you can add the results you've gotten from that thing to your portfolio. So when people go through your portfolio, it doesn't look like you're a total beginner. They get to understand that you've done something, not just that you've done something, you have results to show for it. So proof of work should take the remaining 4 months from you. That's the second 4 months. Start looking for proof of work. Even offer your services for free. There are people who will be willing to hire you, but they might not be able to pay at the moment. Offer those services for free. What you're getting is experience. Mr. Jerry pointed out something similar. He said, for example, as you're launching Tech Vival, I think you have a skill that you would have used to, bring value to us. You could reach out, right? We are benevolent enough to write you a very explosive recommendation after all of your services. So there are businesses that would need you to do similar things for them. And if you're waiting for them for when they would hire you, they might not do that at any closest time you're planning to. So do work on that. So the last 4 months will be on execution, personalized outreach, referrals from past connections, and direct applications. So you need to start reaching out. Go on LinkedIn. Jerry told you something now, how he was able to speak with the top central bank executive. So these are things you might not even have access to unless you ask for it. You ask for access. Okay, so someone like the Mocha CEO who has invested, committed $5,000 in investment for the conference. I wouldn't have been able to reach that guy if I didn't ask. I had to email him over and over and over again. The emails went unread, some were read and not responded, but I didn't give up. I kept asking for it. I kept reaching out. I kept asking for meetings until he agreed for the first 20 minutes meeting. We had that meeting, right? Subsequent talks and conversations led us to where we are with them at the moment. So you need to really ask, message people, be bold. This is not you meeting face to face. Write cold emails. Go look for, go on their platforms, scrape for their emails, look for people who work in the organization, speak to them, tell them you want to speak to this. Even at some point, when the local CEO wasn't giving me attention, I looked for I think their head of sales, or head of marketing, something similar. I started speaking with her, a Chinese lady. I gave her so much value, and then you started asking for a chance with the CEO. So you need to be bold enough to ask for these things. If you don't ask, you won't get. That's just the truth. So you do have to put yourself out there. So that is the work plan I would work with if I am to do something similar in in 1 year. So I hope you got value with that. So because of our time, we'll just take one more. Initially, we're supposed to have two. Okay, let's run along anyway. The second question for Mr. David is this: David, if someone has zero background in tech, how should they go about identifying the right starting point for their journey? If someone has zero background in tech, how should they go? Okay, I'm going to display a question on the screen so you can follow up as I read. David, if someone has zero background in tech, how should they go about identifying the right starting point for their journey? So you have 2 minutes because of our time. Just in 2 minutes, tell us what your response to this would be.
Okay, so I'm trying to. I think I'll try to just be direct. So the thing is, I wouldn't. I wouldn't say. I don't think there's like a very direct answer to this, and the reason for that is because a lot of people might start telling you, "Oh, what do you have? Like, what passion and all of that." But sometimes it's also possible that you pick a career line based off of how you were trained or where you or the very first role you ever landed in, let's say tech, or maybe in life generally, right? I always like to give examples, and the reason for examples is so that it guides kind of it guides your thought process, right? So first of all, I didn't just pick being an ops person. I just realized over time that I was a generalist. What that means is I think I saw someone drop in the chat where he said you need to know you need to know little about everything and know everything about one thing, right? Which makes a lot of sense, right? I just realized I was a generalist. I easily pick interest in a lot of things. Like so, I can be speaking with Mr. Victor now, and then he says, "Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing X, Y, Z," and then it just catches my attention. Somehow, I just love what he's doing, and then I want to learn about it. I'm learning about it not because I just want to go and start doing exactly the same thing, but because it's like kind of, is a very like exciting thing for me. So, what I'm just saying is, I think for your own journey, I think you should just look at where you are now and what you can do. Another example is I started UI design. I don't know why. I just okay, UI UX has been sounding everywhere. Let me just look at what it is like, and then I started doing that. Right. I've also tried to see how I can start coding because as a person, I shall know I'm very spontaneous with ideas. So at some point, I can just something comes up. So I want to be the one to code the platform by myself. But somehow over time, I just realized that my own schedule, I don't have time for coding. So I just leave coding for people who get them. Let me be very raw, right? So but what I'm just saying in essence is I think bottom line is look at where you are now, look at what you think you do or what you can do, and then I think you pick it up from there. So most people most times don't necessarily have to like define, just try a lot of things out, right? Try a lot of things out. Sometimes it could be maybe you land your first role in maybe you are someone's EA. From being an EA, you move on to maybe the person gives you other tasks to perform, and then somehow you find something else interesting, and then you see that you do very well with this, and then you want to move to this space and all of that. I think that's how you kind of like find a starting point, right? So for me, the cheat is try a lot of things out, right? Try things out. I don't mean go learning everything in the world, right? Try one, two, three things you kind of um before you kind of like pick a point where you say, okay, this is the core of what I want to do, and then you stick with it and build with it. Mr. Victor, sorry, I'm taking a lot of time, but just 30 more seconds. So Mr. Victor can actually relate to this. He started a boring business when we came out of TEF. He was a fashion guy, doing a lot of other things, and from there, I mean, that one thing he tried that thing. At least he has gotten lessons from there. He has learned a lot of things from there. I'm sure he has tried a lot of other things out. I'm sure he also was at the time a blogger, right? If I'm not wrong, Mr. Victor. And then before he now finally found where this point now where he is, which is Dexa. And then you see he has been on it for like 2 years, and definitely you see that, or 3 years or more, and then you see that it's over these years are actually paid off. So I think just try a lot of things out. Try one, two, three, four things, whichever one sticks, you stick with it. So I think that's just my practical, solution. Yeah, to finding a starting point, basically.
Okay, David. Thank you so much for that response. I believe anyone who has zero background in tech, having listened to what you said, would easily find their path following the directions you've made. And it's always good to connect all of these things to practical things people can go through. Always good to connect them with stories that affect you as a person, your experience, how you've been able to do it, and how you've also scaled out. And of course, what you said about me is true. I did try a whole lot of things before I was able to, find where the right path is for me. So imagine I had clarity from the onset. I would have just poured all of that energy into this and do it for long, right? But still, it's a safe zone to play in. You have to try a whole lot of things to really know um, what it is going to be for you. So the last question for this panel is going to go to Mr. Dave, Mr. Jerry. So Mr. Jerry, I would need you to, just in just 2 minutes, please. Would love that so that we can, quickly go on to the next thing. So, Mr. Jerry, what are the biggest differences between Africans who just have skills and those who actually grow into global tech professionals? Right. So I'm going to have okay. Let's give you 2 minutes, 30 seconds for that. What are the biggest difference between Africans who just have skills and those who actually grow into global tech professionals? Over to you, Mr. Jerry.
So, people who just have skills The difference is that first of all, those ones they have built the skill, but they are just sitting down and waiting for doors to open to them. Those who grow to become global tech professionals are those who decide to use the skills that they have learned to solve global problems. Right? When I was teaching my session, I said, identify a problem, identify a cause. By that I mean is it a course, and that course in two ways: CAUSE and COURSE. Identify a course and pursue it using the skills that you have gathered. That's what differentiates them. African soldiers are they are just there. They will tell you, "Oh, I've have skills in this. I've not been able to get opportunities and all that." But those who become global tech professionals, they join the global conversations on the global level. That field, that industry that you are in, what are the challenges? What are the new trends that are coming up now? Right? You learned website design and coding last year, good, but there are new programming languages that have come out now. AI has come up now. Are you up to date? So persons who eventually grow to become global tech professionals are those who align themselves with the trends and don't just allow the trends control them. Rather, they lead the trend. They lead the trend. They lead conversation. They identify problems in the continent and provide solution to it. And they don't just provide solution to it and keep quiet. They are very vocal about their message. Have a message. Have a calling. Have a message. Have the people you're targeting, and just put yourself out there, like I always say. So that's what I basically have to say on that. So don't just have skills, right? The global village in the global scene in Africa right now, there are conversations happening. How can your skill align with it? Right? Identify a course and follow it. Identify the trends right now in your field and don't just allow control the trend, lead the trend. Get soak yourself in it, join conversations and just be in the global scene so that when you have or when opportunities come and they present someone that just has skills and they present you, when people listen to you, they will know that okay, this guy knows what he's saying. And finally, just be all about impact, whatever you are doing. Don't just be driven by money. Those who have only skills, they just want money. But money isn't everything. Money isn't all that you should focus on. Focus on impact. Focus on making a difference. For example, I'm an instructional designer. I develop courses, trainings, and learning programs. I develop LMS, learning infrastructure, and everything. But I'm here talking to you now. I'm adding value to you. Why? Because aside from making money, it's my desire to add value to life through what I do and through the experiences I've gathered in my journey. So I hope that makes a lot of sense.
Yes, that makes so much sense. Thank you so much, Mr. Jerry, for that amazing section. So thank you guys, Mr. Jerry and Mr. David. It's been an amazing time with you. Having to listen to your perspective about all of these topics, it is really amazing. It was an honor, hosting you for this section. So thank you so much. So